Yeah.
All right, y'all, we're going to go live right now. Sorry. Welcome back to the O Show, everything crypto and NFTs every day. I'm your host with the most, WendyO. You guys, I hurt my neck. I don't know what happened, but I can't really move around a lot. It hurts to even just sit here. But thank goodness that I have a really, really awesome, amazing network. And I have some amazing guests that they're going to be able to basically carry the show and be very, very expressive for me because I can't do it. And we're going to be talking about some very, very, very important topics. So it's very important for you guys to share this. Probably we are going to be covering the SBF case a bit because it's absolutely ridiculous. But we do have somebody here that's very important, and I'm going to butcher his resume for him because it's funny. I can do that as my show, but he's actually fighting for our rights in the United States of America when it does come to tax reform with the IRS. If you guys are not aware, the IRS is actively going after crypto. Some of the laws and regulations and things that they want to impose are kind of eating away at our privacy, and it's very important to be active. And again, anytime the IRS or the SEC or any of these public servant entities, they try to change things, in some cases they will give the public a place to comment, and that's exactly what William's doing. But more importantly, he's like he did some kind of cool things on Ethereum. Some things, he also can teach you like how to like right click stuff. So just kidding. Before we get started, and before I introduce the awesome Spottie WiFi and the awesome Kevin, William, please tell everybody who you are. And then kind of segue into how taxes aren't in your wheelhouse, but here we are today.
Hi, everybody. I'm Untitled, calling from Philadelphia. I'm best known in the crypto space for helping bring you NFTs. So that is the document ERC 721. That is how we make NFTs. NFTs is my first project, and I think it's going to change everybody's life, even in ways that you don't know. NFTs are just going to be everywhere, and that's the vision that I've been pushing forever. But today, Halloween Eve, very important date is coming up with the IRS. The IRS is dropping a bomb on crypto, and I'm here to help decrypt the bomb. Help me with the analogy. But basically, I've studied the bomb. It's 80 pages of bomb, and there's a comment period. So if you want to participate, if you want to stop this, if you want to put your 2 cents in, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you who's getting taxed or not. And and there's also going to be a party in person for a public hearing that we're all going to show up on.
All right, awesome. So you guys, William's information is in the description. If you don't know, if you are not able to help and you know somebody who could help, if you know a CPA, this is the time when we do a community call to action, when you go within your resources, you go within your network and your contacts, and you do the best that you can to help out. Because again, even if you're somebody who's like crypto scammers, blah, 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 we just, like me personally, it is an absolute headache to pay my crypto taxes. One year I paid $30,000 to have somebody help me figure it out properly. The reason why is because I want to make sure I'm doing everything as good as possible, because in the United States of America, you can literally get away with but if you don't pay your crypto taxes, or you don't pay any taxes, that's a problem. We always say on this show, taxes are a scam and the Fed, but pay your crypto taxes, utilize the current loopholes, and grift as ethically as the rest of the people. So again, make sure to follow William. Make sure also to give him flowers for kind of creating NFTs, as those are super important. But we're going to talk about the tax stuff. And if you need to watch this is important. And I promise we're going to get into the drama with SBF. Kevin, go ahead and chill yourself 30 seconds or less, and then we'll drop it off at Mr. Spottie WiFi, an actual musician in the NFT space that's using NFTs for real things.
Yeah, I'm Kevin Estopinel, y'all. Super excited, Wendy, having me back on. I know Wendy said she's only 80%, but Wendy at 80% is like 100%, 120% of most crypto influencers. There's an old saying in poker, y'all. If you're sitting at a table and you don't know who the fish is, you're probably the fish. But, Wendy's got a full star-studded cast today. I'm just meeting these fellas, but I'm looking forward to wrapping it up with y'all.
Awesome. And then Mr. Spottie WiFi. Tell people who you are, because they need to know that NFTs actually do have real utility.
Oh yeah, well, thank you for having me, Wendy. My name is Spottie WiFi. I'm the best only CryptoPunk rapper alive. And yeah, basically back in 2021, I bought this CryptoPunk in February, and I made a rap persona, a rap character around it. Like if you remember the band The Gorillas, or, a lot of artists that have had pseudonyms, I kind of did that with my CryptoPunk. Made this really nerdy concept album about the CryptoPunk rapper living his life in the metaverse. And then I packaged that album as an NFT, and the NFT unlocked vinyl records and gave you the right to use the song in your podcast or your film or your video game. And then of course, tickets to live events and things like that, all unlocked through music NFTs. So that was kind of, it was a bit of a game changer at the time. Music wasn't really a big category in NFTs. And earlier this year, I was fortunate to put out my follow-up album to that debut album. And this new album that I put out is called The King's Alpha. We got Snoop Dogg on the album, Bun B, Jim Jones, Timbaland mixed one of the records. So basically, I've just been right place, right time in the music NFT scene, thanks to William's hard work, and been able to attract the attention and the collaboration of a lot of really, really dope people that I look up to.
That's amazing. And that makes me so excited because we all love a music man. So shout out to Little D that's in the audience. He's been in the music game for a very, 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 very long time. Most of your favorite bands from the 90s, he's either played with them, lived with them, or fist fought with them. So shout out to him. He's in the audience. He's got a very impressive resume. But anyways, we got to get started over here because should I do Bitcoin market? I'm going to do Bitcoin market update really, really quickly because it's my show. I do what I want to do. And then we're going to get in what's going on with Kraken. And then we're going to cover the reason why we're going to talk about Kraken because it directly relates to what William is doing when it comes to the tax stuff. So this is the Bitcoin chart. And I posted this on Twitter. I says, guys, would you buy this? Would you buy this? To me, we're looking a little bit toppish here at about $35,000, $36,000. Oopsie, darn it. What did it do that? Oh no, won't let me put stuff. Anyways, we're looking a little bit toppish over here when it does come to Bitcoin. So just kind of looking at a naked chart, it does look like we may possibly get a retrace to about $31,000. However, if we do toss on some of the EMAs and all of that type of stuff, where is it? Down over here. If we do toss on some of the EMAs, we can see, that 32,000 is a good area of support. We do like to go in the lower time frames and kind of see what's happening. The 4 hour, we've already broken down below the EMA 9. So I think we might have a little bit of downward volatility this weekend. And again, we've got some pretty strong support about 32,000. Not saying that we're going to drop all the way down to 32,000, but that does look like a nice area. Also, too, there's a couple. There's a couple things I took off the chart because I posted this on Twitter to troll people. But basically, if we look over here, what's going on, I think that we may actually retest this lower trend line about 28,000. I'm not saying this weekend, but in the future, I could be incorrect there as well. Also, you guys, we are partnered with Femex. I am using their ref link. So if you want to use a ref link that helps support me, the channel, that's how we cover payroll here. So if you want to use that, great. But understand if you're using any single centralized exchange, I don't care who it is. I don't care if your mom runs it. If you leave your crypto on a centralized exchange, not your keys, not your coins, and you do need to read the terms of services and you do need to understand how that works. If you're somebody who wants to use the exchange to dollar cost average, please make sure to remove your crypto from there. Don't leave it on there extended period of time. There's also more rumors that, with Binance and Tether being investigated for alleged illicit money things happening. Well, I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. I do think that is, you can love Binance, hate it. Same with Tether, not saying they're perfect actors. I'm just simply saying it's very interesting timing that they're coming out and attacking them. So that's where I get a little bit of problematic here. And again, not saying they're innocent, but at the same time, it's kind of, things are, especially with the SBF stuff, that's a little bit problematic to me. Do you guys have anything that you want to comment about the market? Are you guys actively trading the market that you want to comment on?
Wendy, I'll go. So first of all, you doing TA, that was like a symphony. It looked like you're conducting an orchestra. So I love your TA, Wendy. I do watch a lot of your stuff. I did sell a bunch of my Bitcoin and ETH. I got to take profits, Wendy, right? You big on the moon bags. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. So I still got my bags of altcoins. So if we go into super cycle or something, I'll still have my altcoins, but that's kind of how I'm playing the market.
All right. Spottie, anything with you? You just chilling?
Right now I'm chilling. I was buying a lot under 26K. And then once we started getting up toward 30, I was in disbelief a little bit. And then I said, once we get out of, I was like, once we get into a yearly high, or if we see a dip, I'm going to buy. So I did buy some more at, closer to 33. I wanted to be buying at 32, but I was a little disorganized. So right now I'm chilling, but I'm in. I have some dry powder in case we dip, but I'm just way too bullish right now with everything going on with Gary Gensler's change of tone and what some of the different applicants for the ETFs are saying in terms of them getting actual feedback or actual questions back from the SEC. I hope we dip so I can buy more, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but to me, Bitcoin's it's one of the more safer things. And if you guys don't already know, I own Bitcoin and Ethereum. William, what are your thoughts on the market? Do you care, or are you just out here just building and chilling?
I'm the worst here because I work with some of these people. So I work with these blockchain, the L1s. And so I'm on the payroll, or I'm an advisor, right? So I actually don't buy.
Okay.
I mean, I get a few, but I really don't trade.
Okay, that's fair enough. Me too. Like we do disclose sponsored content on the show, and we always ask for stables or Bitcoin or Ethereum because it just really removes any type of bias there. It's just like cool,
Exactly.
we disclose everything. So we're just kind of chilling. I did swap a bunch of Tether actually to Ethereum. So we'll probably dip, and I'm okay with that. And I will be adding more to that position because I do anticipate Ethereum will potentially go up to at least $4,000 next cycle. I would love to see $10,000 Ethereum, would love to see it. But with this particular trade, this will be a long-term swing for me. But we do have to get into the unsexy things. But it is important to talk about it because it's real life and it's actually happening. And we want to make sure that we're covering important things. One of the things we like to cover on the show is that the predatory practices of the public servants. And I think what the IRS is doing is very, very predatory. So let me go ahead and pull this up over here. All right, we're going to go and pull, and this is where William is going to get into it. So we're covering this story because it directly relates what William is trying to accomplish. Kraken to share user data with IRS next month following June court order. Okay. This is very, 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 very important. If you're somebody who has not been paying your crypto taxes, I'm going to break this down for you. Coinbase, I believe, does have to share customer data with the IRS. Most people have bought their first portion of a Bitcoin or any crypto on Coinbase. So what happens is you buy on Coinbase, you do a little bit of trading, then you move to a decentralized wallet, okay, to your MetaMask, whatever it is you're doing. Guess what? The way the blockchain analytics works, you can track that, or you can track that original buy all the way to Coinbase. So you're somebody who's not paying your crypto taxes. Guess what? And this also extends further to collection agencies. People do not understand what is coming in the near future. People are like, okay, well, I'm all in crypto, so they can't take my house. They can't take all these things from me if I don't pay my credit card or whatever. Guess what? Eventually, if you owe any debt in America and in other countries, this has not happened yet, but this is my mind just kind of moving forward. What a really good friend of mine has been worked at collection agencies for the last 30 years, and he's excited. He's like, I can't wait, because then he gets bigger commission. So what's going to happen is these exchanges are going to get subpoenaed. They're going to get your personal information, and they're going to be able to use AI or whatever tool they're using to track those blockchain analytics and figure out where your stuff is. So we want to protect our privacy, but we also want to promote being honest. So you do have to pay your crypto taxes, guys. Pay your crypto taxes, do the right thing. But a little bit about this story, and then I'm going to hand it over to William, and then we're going to talk just basically slam FTX. So Kraken is going to share data with the IRS next month following a June court order. Data concerns users in the US with transactions over 20,000 from 2016 to 2020. It includes name, date of birth, tax ID, address. And basically Kraken's fight with the IRS started back in May of, I want to say it was 2020. But anyways, the US federal court authorized the agency to serve a John Doe summons on the exchange and its subsidiaries in a bid to catch tax dodgers. If you guys don't know what a John Doe summons is, it's an investigative tool used to determine the identity of unknown individuals who the IRS has a reason to believe have been violating tax laws. Requires a third party, in this case it's Kraken, to provide certain information to the IRS. IRS also said that Kraken has failed to comply with the summons. Then in February this year, IRS filed a court document seeking permission to enforce summons. In June, the court ordered Kraken to turn over user information to the IRS. So, William, get into it with us, please. Get into it.
Yeah, this is the time. So this is the season. This is where everything comes to light. A law was passed. It's the Jobs Act in the United States. And this had this little provision that they have to tax crypto. Digital assets. It's actually more than crypto. It includes credit card points. We'll get into that. But basically, so what's happening is the law's been passed. The law's done. However, the regulation, how are we going to do this? Who needs to collect social security numbers? Hint, MetaMask is included. But these things are included, right? What is included? What's excluded? Where's the lasso? What's inside the lasso? That is the IRS. IRS has written this down. It's 80 pages. There's a lot. You need to read it. Some of you need to read it, or just watch my videos. I cut it into 20-second pieces. The pieces you care about we'll bring up today. But these things are including a lot of parts. So like when you use any crypto exchange, they're going to have to get your social security number. Not a big surprise. MetaMask needs your social security number. That's a big surprise. Compound Finance needs your social security number. That's a big surprise. These are surprises. These are things you were not expecting, but it's written in there. It's written in there. They've got examples. If you want to open the 80-page document and just click on the examples, they're scary. Because they say like party A, party B. And you're like, that's Compound Finance. And they're going to want my social security number? Yes. You'll need to put your social security number in any website.
And also to kind of piggyback on that, you guys, these are supposed to be decentralized applications. These are supposed to be tools that allow us to have completely to remove ourselves from the third-party predators, because banks are third-party predators, all of that stuff. And you generally, the way before we had DeFi, if you needed a loan, you go to a bank. Most banks will turn you down, or they'll force you to get one from a credit card. Interest rates are like what, 20 to 30% there. If you're poor or if you got bad credit, they'll say, nope, we're not going to loan to you. They make you go to check and cash place or payday loans. Those are like absolutely ridiculous. So what we're seeing happen is our solution to predatory practices of the banks get taken away from us, and nobody's talking about it. Everybody's really focused on the SBF thing. Everybody's focused on the crypto bear market. Everybody on crypto Twitter is like chewing each other a new behind for absolutely no reason. And these are things that we do need to worry about, because it all goes with a CBDC that's coming. Hotep Jesus talks about it a lot. I know he's in the chat. Shout out to Hotep Jesus, Black and White podcast, Monday from 1 to 3. But what I'm saying is that they are going to be coming for everything, like your privacy, your liberty. They're basically blaming that Wall Street Journal article in some instances, not necessarily this instance, but they're saying crypto is bad, even though that was not accurate. Okay. And again, I don't care what you think about Binance or Tether. My point is that the time and the place of this, it's too coincidental. So back to you, William.
For sure. This is brutal stuff. So you got to understand what's changing. Some of the people, you have it in your mind, you're like, oh, if I'm going to use an exchange, they're going to want to report this. Not surprising, but there's a lot of things that are surprising. And there's even some things I was surprised that I didn't see coming from a mile away. There's a backdoor about real estate that they're closing, and people are apparently buying houses with Bitcoin. They don't have to report it. It's a whole thing, but that's a secret. And this is a big show, right? So I actually am looking for people that have gone through that. I want to know that a little better. Anyway, these rules are still going to work. All these back holes still work today. The rules go into effect at the end of 2024. So when the IRS puts out new rules that involve taxes, they have to give you like a breather for a whole year. And so that's why they're trying to get it done now. Halloween's coming up. And so they've got the 2024's chill, the rules don't go into effect. And then January 1st, 2025, that's it. Okay. So I want to put out the call to action first, is that there is a comment period on ending Halloween Eve. So you got until this weekend, you got until Sunday to get your comments in. Anything you want to say? There's already 1,500 last I checked. This is one of the most commented regulations, at least for this year. And I've looked back 5 years, I couldn't find one with more comments. So this is a very vibrant debate. And if you're going to show up in person in DC, call me. It's November 7th. But you have to tell them now. There's a waiting list to just physically get in the room. So it's a big event, and this affects a lot of things. It affects more than just crypto. It's affecting these exchanges. It doesn't just affect Americans either. If you're an American exchange, they want proof that you're not American if you're a European. If you're a European exchange, they even have laws that European exchanges have to follow. How does the IRS make regulations that affect European companies? They do, because America's too big to be, just keep to themselves. They have to push everyone around, right? So it really affects a lot of people. Don't think it doesn't affect you. Now, here's the privacy aspect. The thing that I actually want taxes. I want taxes. This is legitimate.
No, it's the most important aspect is the privacy aspect, because again, you guys, everything is going to be shifting to a digital economy, which, okay, great, fine. But we need to still demand that there are some avenues that are private. Like, again, I'm a mom. I don't want people to, like, when they issue that CBDC or whatever it is they're going to do, I do not want people to know that I'm going to Walmart at this time with my kid, because, you can track all of that stuff, because I'm a very structured person. I don't want people knowing what I'm doing and how I'm spending my money. I'm going to pay my crypto tax. I'm going to pay all my taxes and do what I need to do. But my privacy is important. So is my child's.
And that is actually that's the fulcrum that I'm going to use to actually tear up some of this regulation. I think that this regulation is illegal for a lot of reasons, but specifically on privacy. If you use a crypto credit card, and a lot of people do. Here's a question for Wendy. I'm going to quiz you. I'm going to put you on the spot. When you make a regulation for taxes, they have to estimate how many people are affected. How many people in the US do you think, how many households, what percentage of households do you think are already using crypto today?
Probably 5% or less.
Around the room. What do you think percentage?
10.
20%.
It's 10%. I thought it was 1%. So on the money, Kevin. It's exactly 10% of households are doing crypto today, and the IRS is like, oh, we got to come tax you. But I think the privacy is actually illegal, because there are rules about privacy in our Constitution and other laws. And if you're using a crypto credit card, which a lot more people are using than I ever thought, but if you're swiping it, every time you swipe it, that transaction is reported itemized to the IRS. You buy coffee, that individual transaction is sent to the IRS. You buy a gun, that transaction is sent to the IRS. You buy an abortion, that goes to the IRS. Those are prohibited categories, right? Those are things that you cannot report to the IRS, but they're requiring. So that's like, let's go, baby. Like, you want all this information? It's illegal. I don't put middle fingers up. We're in a family show here, but like that's what you need to say to the IRS when they're asking for this information.
You know how problematic that is? Just imagine that you're working in let's say a corporate job, and you get pregnant, and you know that they have a history of firing people that get pregnant, and you want to figure out what you're going to do with that, or you want to, maybe leave that job. They'll be able to see those types of things. Like if you go to your healthcare provider, they can see that type of stuff. And again, that's just one example I'm using. There's a lot of different examples.
The pregnant women in pregnancy are the worst in corporate America. I've been through reorgs where they remove the position because someone's pregnant, and then they hire the same position. Well, is that a thumbs up? They hire the same position when, in the same day. It's like, oh, well, what did you do here? Oh, it was a reorg. It was just a reorg. It wasn't a reorg. You just fired someone because they're pregnant. And then that's what privacy is. Privacy is not allowing women to be pregnant. Privacy is not allowing, people to do things with their life. And there's laws that protect us. And these laws are going to stop some of this crypto disaster regulation.
All right, Spottie, your mind. I see your mind churning here. What's going on?
Well, I'm not a legal expert or anything, but I guess the things that come to my mind is just to set the table. Like, privacy is a human right. It's like a thing that, at least in the United States, like, I think it's the Fourth Amendment. I don't know. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But like, it's pretty high ranking in terms of like, things that we were thinking about as a country. So to William's point, I think it's really a slippery slope. I think that, first off, like in the US, we have credit scores, and those are a scam. In other countries, they're developing like social credit scores. And I think this is all very, it can become pretty dystopian pretty quickly. Not just like, what did you buy at CVS, and how does your employer feel about it? But, how does your potential lender feel about it is another thing too, I guess the other thing I would say is like, I hope that people take what William's saying seriously and comment on these laws that are being proposed. I've never commented on any of these things, but I'm going to definitely do it now that I see that it's so immediate right now. And okay, the other thing I want to say too is like, you see Elizabeth Warren and her army of anti-crypto people, they're already blaming crypto on like some geopolitical things right now, right? And as
be careful what you say because it's YouTube.
Right. Yeah. So I just want to say that I think that's another area that is going to accelerate in terms of potentially, if we don't act, it's going to become more and more dystopian.
Yeah. And another thing I just thought in my mind is as life insurance policies. They're super strict with what they allow you to do. So let's say you're a healthy person, but you like to eat Doritos every once in a while, or have like a cigarette every once in a while. They can go ahead and use that data to see what foods you're buying, or what you do recreationally. Say, you know what, we're not going to cover you because you like to smoke one cigarette a week or something stupid like that. And we want to be able to be private because, genetics and those types of things work better in the way insurance companies work. Our life insurance policies, they use algorithms and they use statistics, and they don't pay attention to different outliers and those types of things. So there's all these different things that we're not thinking about because it's just so outside the box. It's systems that we rely on to work. But again, you guys, your privacy matters. And once people get involved in your privacy, not okay. Kevin, give us your thoughts on this.
Yeah, y'all. So data is kind of becoming a new commodity. Think of data like oil. Oil is a commodity, and that our data is actively being stolen and sold on the black market. So if, your purchasing history and you're purchasing if that data is available, they will 100% use it against you. Private property rights, those are basic human rights. I mean, the taking of private property, that's every communist regime. So really scary to dystopian that we're kind of going into. But I do look at these people on the stage right here, Wendy especially, as like the voice for the voiceless and the voice, for a decentralized economy, because there's no future without decentralization.
Yep. No, I most definitely agree. It's just scary. Like, there's so many things that are happening that are pure, like complete invasions of our privacy. And again, like the thing that probably bothers me the most is like so many people are going after Binance and going after Tether. And again, people are mincing my words and saying, oh, well, you support them. They did bad stuff, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not saying I support them, or I'm not saying that they're perfect. I'm simply saying the timing of this is problematic because they're pushing out incorrect information. Like if you want to do an investigation, okay, fine, do it. But let's stick to the topics, you know, let's stick to what is actually happening. The great thing about blockchain technology is transparent. Everybody can see it. And with cash, you can't see it. And that's what my problem is, because we're seeing that other bad thing that happened with Mr. JE. Nobody cares about that. And how do you think a lot of those transactions were facilitated? It was facilitated with cash. So it's like, to me, it makes no sense. If anything, they want to encourage blockchain in the United States of America because they can catch people doing bad stuff.
It's funny. Yeah, the reasons don't line up with what they're doing. They're saying they want to catch people. They're not using it to catch people. They want to shut down crypto. I mean, it's very obvious. When I read this regulation, the main reason that they have to have a reason. The reason is we want to, why do I keep getting these confetti? The reason is we want to close the tax gap. We want to collect the taxes that are due that nobody's paying. I'm like, okay, that's your motivation, right? Okay, I put those lenses on. And then I read the regulation. You know something else that's a digital asset that's bigger than crypto, that more than 10% of households use every day? Credit card points. Credit card points are bribes that credit card companies give you to intermediate themselves, and it hurts poor people a lot. If you're not getting 2% of your money back every time you buy anything, you're getting scammed. And who's scamming you? The banks. The bank is screwing everybody. However, if you carefully read the regulation, the credit card points are crypto. The points are crypto and subject to tax. And I'm like, let's go. What? I'm seeing a scared face, Wendy.
I'm just like, because it's just too much. Like, it's just too much. Like the fact that they're pushing all of this predatory stuff right now, when we are like, we are in a recession. And this is my hill. We are in a recession. We're experiencing high levels of inflation, like mortgage rates. Like I'm trying to help my sister get a little place, like a condo or something. I cannot find, like, even though we have like quite a decent down payment between me and my mom, we can't find anything. We can't even find a freaking condo in LA County. A mortgage payment would be under $3,000 a month. She's low income. She can't afford that. Like my head is just spinning because it's like they keep taxing and taxing and taxing. And my problem with it is like, okay, I'll pay my taxes, but I can't track where my taxpayer dollars are going. Like, I don't know where they're going. I know for a fact that they're not going to the right place because in LA County, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say on it, but in LA County, we have schools that are 3 out of 10s in LA County. That should not be, these are public schools. That should not be happening any way, shape, or form. Okay. I will drive on a bumpy road, give all the babes, give all of them good education. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Before we talk about SBF, William, do you want to add anything? Because we gotta lighten the show up a little bit because this is getting ridiculous. And we got to laugh at the stupidity of him. And but anything else you want to add on this?
Hey, this is Friday. We're all wearing colorful clothes here. We're having a good time. And if we can just punch down a little bit, I think that people that steal billions of dollars, I think we can have a good laugh.
Yeah, let's go. All right, we're going to get into some lighter topics here. So I'm going to pull my screen up. And you guys, if you're watching this, make sure to smash a like. When you smash a like, this helps push this out to more and more people. We want to get this out to as many people as possible because we want you to participate. We want you to participate. We want you to reach out to the IRS. We want you to tell them to go F themselves. We want you to make noise. Okay. This is exactly what we need to do. And and people might say, well, Wendy, what are you doing? Well, I'm giving you guys access to this information so you can continue to do your due diligence. We say on the show all the time, hear what I say, but listen to yourself. It basically means I'm an idiot on the internet. I talk a lot. I'm going to give you different ideas, different sources of information. I want you to fact check me and I want you to continue to do your due diligence. That's what I want you to do here. Listen to yourself. But we have to get into SBF because it wouldn't be I don't even know what today is. It's Friday. So lots of stuff. Sam Bankman-Fried is testifying without a jury present. Judge Clapton sent the jury home because he says there's some information they should not hear. I don't know if I'm correct on this, but Spottie, are you have a tiny bit of a legal background, right?
Yeah, no. A lifetime ago, I was an attorney. That's true. No longer.
Okay.
Yes.
So as a former attorney in a different lifetime, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I was never a litigator. Okay, so my point of view here is pretty much the same. If I didn't have any legal background, which is just like, in every movie, in a lot of these movies of like trial courtroom movies, there's some dumbass defendant who wants to take the stand, right? And like, I just feel like I don't know. It seems like he's really grasping at straws here. He's trying to put the blame on like his advisors from the little bit that I've read, you know. He doesn't remember who authorized them to be borrowing, quote unquote, borrowing client funds, you know, or selling client Bitcoin. So to me, it's just kind of like the whole thing is kind of a comedy of errors, a sad, you know, tragic comedy. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's in, I mean, they need a fall guy, you know, I would think they need a fall guy. And what's her name? Carolyn, you know, I think they were playing chicken of like,
where's Sam Trabocco? Where is Sam Trabocco? He was like the guy, the Alameda guy 3 months before they collapsed. Where is he? We're not,
exactly.
Where's Carmen Sandiego, but where's Sam?
Exactly. And Sam is just that guy, you know, and who knows? I don't know. I mean, to me, the conspiracy theorist in me, well, never mind. I don't want to get us in trouble, but I feel like SBF, you know, he might have been more connected, or he might have been brainwashed. I don't know. Or he's just that guy that was dumb enough to let this all happen, you know. But I love that we have a punching bag, you know, in terms of somebody that we can have a shared enemy or a shared antagonist in this whole thing. And hopefully we can move on, because unfortunately for a lot of people outside of our crypto bubble, you mentioned Bitcoin, and the first thing they're going to talk about is FTX or SBF. In fact, I'm predicting it at Thanksgiving. You know, it's going to be a drinking game, you know, so anytime I hear SBF or FTX at the table, I will be doing a shot. And so we'll see how that goes. But I think it's going to be probably an early night for me on Thanksgiving.
Growing up, we used to have the Pee Wee Herman drinking game, and we would watch it on the holidays. And anytime he laughed or something, we would take a shot, do something stupid with the friends. But I personally think that the whole FTX thing, I think this was a psyop. I think this was purposely done to really instill bad regulation in the United States of America. If you look at how connected his parents were, his dad literally wrote paperwork on how about the market or the psychology of avoiding or tax fraud, something along those lines. And I'm thinking to myself, and he was on payroll at FTX somewhere. He was on payroll. So how are you going to have your dad, that is a expert in this, that's literally teaching college courses, knowing that something was off, and his dad didn't say nothing? And then also too, if you go back and you read there was a time, it was right around the crypto contagion when Celsius collapsed, and it was May of 2022, I believe. But I remember reading Sam's proposed crypto regulation, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this? What? And we're starting to see all the things that he has proposed crypto regulation, his recommendations kind of come to fruition. And again, I feel like he was still a bad guy. Caroline was still a bad guy. All these people are still bad guys, but I really think this was spearheaded by his parents. And the blue people just kind of did 60-90 chess with them. Again, politics, don't care if you're red, blue, doesn't matter to me. I just want everybody to live their best life. But it just kind of seems that all this stuff is happening to really cause problems in the industry. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
So I agree with what Spottie said, you know, because I hate that this is getting classified. You know, even my mom is calling SPF. She calls him the Bitcoin guy, and like it couldn't be anything further from the truth. Wendy, I'm gonna push back on you a little bit.
That's fine,
because this simulation is starting to get pretty wild. I do not think this collapse was orchestrated, but I don't remember who the quote was: never let a good crisis go to waste. So I think that this crisis happened, and they did propose FTX to essentially be the way to regulate all the other projects out. I mean, what was some stuff coming out the court documents that they were conspiring to keep the Bitcoin price down? They were propping up the FTT token. There was just so much stuff. And then it just got, you know, the inmates took over that asylum, and we seen FTX crash, and now they're doing serious damage control. And, you know, we hear a lot about this 2-tier justice system, and that's really seems like what's happening right now. So I'm not a legal expert, y'all. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I do not think this collapse was orchestrated, but it is being manipulated from here.
I do, but that's just me. Mr. William, talk to us.
I'm with Wendy on this. There's the regulators, there's the Congress critters. They had this email already written years ago about how they want to shut down Bitcoin, and they just had it in their drafts, just been sitting there. And then SBF comes out and they just hit send. They were ready for this. It would have been anything.
it's just too coincidental. But again, I could be wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. It's not the math is not math in here. And then also too, let's talk about this one. Brief takes from SBF trial yesterday. This is from Miss Eleanor. SBF's lawyer Mark Cohen, which again, you guys, Mark Cohen, I want to say he represented JE or JE's girlfriend. I want to say that was the same attorney. So we'll y'all know who JE is. He did anyways. SBF's lawyer Cohen kept asking whether the witness could physically see the documents on the monitor in front of him. The judge, probably in an attempt to speed up the proceedings, said this is not an exam for new eyeglasses and directed him to move on. SBF took the stand. He was so confident during the second half of his testimony, he was withering as a result of a few pointed questions from the government, hunched shoulders, sheepish smile, darting eyes, and reluctance to give straight answers. That's how I had Sam on my channel twice. And what we talked about, this was back in 2019. He was going off about other competitors before FTX was like the massive thing. I think there's a small exchange called Bing Bong that was a leverage trading platform. They were beefing and arguing. I says, come on my show, let's talk about it. And then BitLord's like, Wendy, because BitLord was working with the other exchange, she's like, get my guy on, get my guy. And I says, okay, fine, we'll do a separate interview with both. And so Sam was like a hot mess there. And then when the sushi swap thing happened, the hack or whatever the hell happened, I says, will you come on my show to talk about it? So I had him live on the show and he was just doing this the entire time. So he's on the spectrum, which is fine. I'm on the spectrum too, but that's just I just can't even fathom this. Anyways, he also said things like, I'm not entirely sure. I don't recall specifically, which sounds like Sam. Judge said that part of the problem is that the witness SBF has what I'll simply call an interesting way of responding to questions. Well, that's because he's on the spectrum, man. That's because he's on the spectrum. And then the next thing I want to bring up, because this directly relates to it, SBF said he believed it was legal to take FTX customer funds through Alameda. He defended his stance under oath and ensured he had no intentions to defraud customers. I'll comment on this in a second. He said he felt comfortable with how FTX was operating because his attorneys had a role in everything from the company's terms of service to setting up North Dimension subsidiary of Alameda. He believed that moving FTX deposits to Alameda was legal and that in many circumstances, Alameda had the right to borrow from FTX for trading or investing ventures. His understandings of the payout agent agreement allowed Alameda to manage funds on behalf of FTX. He stressed that the agreement said that Alameda had the right to hold or transfer those assets in case of necessity. Alameda possessed a lien that gave him access. And then he discussed how Alameda had certain benefits on FTX and admitted that Alameda had advantages over other traders, making market makers on FTX, including delayed liquidations and including no liquidation price at all. With this being said, banks do the same thing. I'm not saying what Sam did was right. I'm not saying it was okay. I'm not saying it was ethical or legal, but the fact that he did have attorneys that probably did tell him it was okay to an extent, which I do believe that could be true, still wrong. He still had a choice to make, but banks do the same thing. And we can be mad, we can hate, we can get upset, but at the same time, we need to also understand this does happen in traditional finance. Banks, by law, I think it happened 2020 or 2021, by law, don't have to have zero reserves. So basically they're taking your money and they're loaning it out. You don't know where it's going. Sam did the same thing. Not saying is right, but that's what happens. And unfortunately, we just had a bunch of idiots running FTX and it's imploded. Spottie.
Well, I'm just, the one thing I forgot to mention is like, I'm just really glad that the judge was able, or whoever was able to get him the Adderall he needed, to testify. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. Cause that was like another thing I guess his lawyer was requesting. You are right, Wendy, that his attorney is, or was somebody's girlfriend's attorney in a very, very important case. But yeah, it's just insane. It's really insane. I don't keep anything on exchanges unless I'm planning on trading pretty imminently. I feel bad. I know people that were affected by this. I didn't even realize at the time, and yeah, I guess the other thing I would say is just like, and Wendy knows this, I had a bad experience recently where I was trying to do everything by the book and I had an accountant that I didn't have a great experience with. And I guess to me, it's just like, lawyers, accountants, with all respect, like make sure you're vetting them well. And I'm not trying to give SBF I'm not trying to mitigate what he did, because he really did people dirty. But what I'm saying is, like, to Wendy, your point, like everybody that has crypto lawyer in their Twitter bio is not your perfect attorney, and everybody that has the NFT CPA as their Twitter handle. That guy in particular should not be your accountant. But anyways, I'm just saying that, man, and I know he had better lawyers than that. I don't think he found his lawyers on Twitter, but it's just deep. It runs really deep, and we have a culture, that just it's a greed filled mentality. Like you said, that's what traditional banking is, and he ran with it in this way, in Web3 and crypto. And yeah, I don't feel any kind of bad for him. I feel bad for the people that lost money. It's just it's a shame. I just hopefully the best thing that I think can come out of it is that we all learn something from it and take that lesson into the next bull run.
Agree. You guys, we got over 400 of you in here. Please make sure to smash the like. The more likes we get, this gets pushed out into the algorithm and we can get people the good information, especially the stuff about taxes in the beginning. It impacts all of us on a global scale. Kevin, what are your thoughts about what we just kind of discussed with actual attorneys and people that we pay that they're supposed to lead us in the right direction? Like, do you think it was the attorney's fault? Do you think it was what do you think?
Very strange situation, and I'm not going to talk about any islands on Wendy's channel, so I'll leave that part out. Go down that rabbit hole yourself. Now, as far as SPF goes, he's really influenced me, guys. I'm an effective altruist myself now because of SPF and everything he's taught me. But Wendy, everything going on with this, one thing I want to point out, Carolyn Elson, guys, when you're looking for a girlfriend, and Carolyn Elson now, she's supposed to be a ride or die. She flipped on him fast. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. The one person in his life, his girl, is flipping on him. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to SBF. It just seems like because of his political donations that he is going to be protected by a certain class. And it's getting weirder. It's getting weird about a day.
I disagree with you. I actually disagree with you. And I think what they did is I feel like that particular class just threw him and his parents under the bus. I think his parents and he thought, okay, we gave these people a lot of money. We're cool. Everything's gravy. No, I think that they're all throwing him under the bus. And I feel like this was all planned out. That's just my opinion. William, what are your thoughts?
It's sad. I basically think everybody's guilty until proven innocent in this case. I mean, when you take so much money and if you're trying to replace the financial system, you are the financial system and you're responsible for all the consequences. So, I mean, that's, when you log in as sudo, when you say, make me a sandwich, when you log in with the admin, you're responsible for what you do as the admin. When you throw out the rule book, you're responsible for throwing out the rule book. Now, if you want to go and FDIC, insure everything, that's going to be great. You're just going to take out $8 billion of insurance from FDIC. But if you're not going to use FDIC and you're going to make your own rules, then it's all on you.
Yep.
No lawyers, no cop-outs, no politicians, no donations, none of that. But I will say I do appreciate that he shows up to talk. I mean, this boy can talk. He talks his way he can talk his way into a paper bag and talk his way out of a paper bag. So at least he doesn't, we're not getting the end round run around. We're not getting I forgot everything. I'm not alive. Fifth Amendment. Like, we're not getting that. Or at least we're getting a human here.
Exactly. And there's some other key points from the testimony yesterday. Defense wants to ask Sam about the lawyers he leaned on while running FTX Alameda. The government does not want to let them do this. There is only a portion of defense argument. SBF repeatedly blamed former FTX general counsel Jan Freeberg and his external counsel from Fenwick and West. They drafted most of the documents around the various policies that SBF says prove he didn't intend to defraud his customers, he testified. Assistant U.S. Attorney Daniel Sasson is known for laying traps for witnesses to fall into. During the cross-examination, SBF, the typical back and forth went like this. Did you have any discussions with lawyers about the permissibility of Alameda spending FTX customer deposits sent to Alameda's bank accounts? I don't recall. So what do you recall? He gave many answers, non-answers, indirect answers, apologies. He didn't know more. Judge slammed him for being slippery. Blah, 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 blah. Sasson asked him if he believed that safeguarding customer assets meant not embezzling money. While smirking, he said yes. What to expect next testimony. He will go through a direct examination, begin his cross-examination earlier today. It's probably going to continue to Monday, and the DOJ isn't sure if they will present rebuttal witness to whatever SBF says. Also, too, this is some of the stuff he said on stand. SBF was asked what FTX stood for. He said, futures exchange. We thought we could build the best product in the world. But hold on one second. These are better over here. Cohen, did it work out that way? No. FTX declared bankruptcy. A lot of people got hurt. Cohen, did you defraud anybody? No. Cohen, how did FTX work? SBF, it was primarily a margin exchange. It worked like a mortgage. The those different types of things. And this is all from Inner City Press. If you guys go follow them, you can get all the information. And then apparently Alameda's first office was an Airbnb in Berkeley, blah, 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 blah. So I don't know. To me, it's getting a little bit interesting with some of the back and forth because, and again, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. If he did have attorneys that drafted all this stuff up, isn't there a little bit of a fiduciary duty to them in some aspect? How does that work, Spottie?
That's a great question. You're dusting off some cobwebs in my brain, taking me way back. But I will say, like, here's what I can say that I know is, like, when I dropped my first NFT collection, my lawyer made me sign something saying that they had advised me that I may be at risk of running an unauthorized lottery. So I'm just saying that to say that sometimes lawyers will oblige you if you want to hire them to help you take a course of action, even if it's not their first recommendation. So that's just a personal experience, I guess. I don't know if he's claiming that, you know, that this was their recommended course of action and he went along with them. I'm guessing that's what he's saying. So it's interesting. I don't know. It's crazy. And those are big names. Fenwick and West, like, if people aren't familiar, that's a big time Web3 law firm representing, you know, some big players. And it's interesting to me that I think you said the judge doesn't want to really talk or hear his thoughts on those attorneys so much. I forget exactly what you said, but it sounded like they're not really trying to hear that, which is interesting.
I mean, because that's another problematic thing in my opinion. And again, I don't really understand too much how law works as I'm not an expert. I do a lot of reading and whatnot. But if you hire somebody to give you legal advice and they give you the wrong advice, there's got to be some sort of accountability there. It's just like hiring a doctor and the doctor doesn't perform the proper procedure with you. So
I also, one thing I did see on the timeline, and I just looked it up, they asked him where the name Alameda Research came from. And he said, I could not come up with anything better than that. I didn't want to call it Sam's crypto trading firm. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, he's just playing, he's playing really dumb and it works. Like, I mean, he looks the part, you know? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where the judge or the jury lands on this.
Spottie's about to go back and get reinstated so he could be like, what the hell? He's going to bust to that courtroom. We got to go in like 7 minutes, but you guys, please smash a like. We'll stick around to the end. Stick around to the end. I promise it's going to be more entertaining. Kevin, what the actual F is going on here?
Yeah, so I guess the bigger picture, the 1,000-foot view is, where was Gary Gensler? Where was the regulator? Every day we hear OGG talking about protecting the retail. Where was he? On top of that, all the big, Shaq, Tom Brady, all these big people were pushing it. It's like they have teams, they have lawyers, they have teams. They didn't vet this guy. All the money for FTX was going into a single account. And I believe Sam even perjured himself when he said that. He said that FTX and Alameda were different companies, but then he said in another interview that they were the same company. They were then just taking the money and doing God knows what with it, buying real estate in the Bahamas, all kind of other crazy stuff. So I'm not a lawyer, guys, but I believe there was plenty of laws that were broken. I mean, I don't know what's going on, Wendy.
1 + 1 = 69. William, I wanted to get your thoughts on this, and I want you to tell people where they can go to do stuff for the IRS to leave some public comments before the 31st. I know Spottie is going to be in all caps. This is the King's Alpha. This is the King's Alpha. This is the King's Alpha. But William, go ahead and kind of give us your thoughts on this, like ethically.
All right. So basically, the ethics, you can learn your ethics from Thanksgiving. You go home on Thanksgiving, you're going to talk to your family. They're going to tell you clear, black and white, what they feel about this, and they're right. All of them are right. All humans are right. Humans make the stories, right? So it's the ethics that matter here. Doesn't matter the laws, doesn't matter this or that. The laws can be bent, but the ethics are pretty clear, and I think we're all going to get an earful of it 1 month from now. But 2 days from now, you need to log in on the IRS, and you need to smash this comment button. The website, I clicked on comment, the website actually gave me like a 500 error. There was literally the website was down. There are so many people commenting on this, and you need to get your comments in. You don't need to be a lawyer. You don't need to be an expert. I've seen comments in there like, "You suck, come tax me, good luck." That's fine. We welcome all comments, right? If you've got more than 2 minutes to leave a comment, you can do that too. But I guess the link. So Wendy's going to give you the link, or where do I give you the link?
Is it because I have our.gg.
Yeah, you can hit that. So
Okay.
hour.gg, I've got all the videos. That's a weekly show on Tuesdays, and we get pretty deep into this stuff. If you don't use your voice, you don't have a voice. And now is the time to use your voice if you care about crypto.
I definitely agree. Well, you guys, that is the show for today. I got to go get my kid and I got to go rest a bit. So you guys, thank you so much for watching. William, thank you so much for coming on, bringing your expertise. Kevin, thank you for the commentary. Spottie, shout out to you. Thank you for coming, giving some opinions on legal stuff. And you guys, please follow all these amazing people, but we have to go. WendyO is out and I'm going to drop a video for y'all, 3:30 p.m. PST. Bye-bye.